My name's Mark. Don was waiting for me at court when I was hired there in '94. His office was next to mine. I worked with him the entire time he was there. I can picture Don sitting on his last desk in that system telling me he was going to go to the doctor because his back was sore. But along the way we had some wonderful times. And one of them, one of the first times and only times I did anything social with Don, he asked if I wanted to go to a show with him. This was early mid-90s. It was Warren Zevon at the Reptile House. I want his sons to know that Don, I was with them at the Reptile House. That place really existed, and we got to see Warren Zevon. Another time, this was forward. We were at a conference in San Diego. Don and I woke up, and before us was the choice: we could go to what was scheduled at the conference, or we, for $5, could go to Tijuana on a beautiful summer day and check out Mexico. So on our way to Mexico, this lady who looked like a movie star, never took her sunglasses off, asked if we were going to Mexico. Yes, we are. And she said, I need to caution you. When you're there, you can't trust anybody. And definitely you can't trust the police. And after she moved back to her seat, Don and I, when we would tell this story, we always referred to her, Don dubbed her the International Woman of Mystery. So she said, don't trust anybody. We were in an area of Tijuana that no one on that trip with us to Mexico was anywhere around. We were in the local part of town at this point, and I don't know which one of us first headed into the intersection, but all of a sudden there was a horn, and I looked up, and every corner was teeming like New York City, and everyone had that look on their face, and we had stopped a truck filled with police and soldiers with AK-47s over their shoulders, and here Don and I are under a hot Mexican sun with all the locals looking like, what are those guys doing? Because we had blocked their way. Apparently they had people they wanted more than us, because eventually we realized we needed to get to the other side so they could go through, but we were frozen for a minute. So those memories, seeing Warren Zevon at the wonderful Reptile House, being caught by soldiers in the middle of Mexico where it warned not to trust anybody. But what I do want to share with you the most, someone talked about the laughter. I laughed so often and so hard with Don. I think it was the nature of our work. The more painful the work, the more important it is to laugh. And he was my spiritual guardrails, because sometimes our humor would go a little too far left or a little too far right. And Don was always there to make sure we didn't in any way say anything that was disrespectful. And my closing memory of Don, I don't think there's anything he would have enjoyed more than helping a lost youth. And by that I mean someone lost within their family, within the system. And if he could stick it to the man while he was freeing them from their situation, all the better. And that's how I remember Don. Thank you.